conversation number 1. How to order from a restaurant over the phone. Here's the conversation. Part 1. Hello, is this Gino's Pizza? Yes, it is. How can I help you today? Great. I'd like to place an order for delivery, please. Certainly. What can I get for you? I'll have a large cheese pizza and, do you guys have any specials running? Actually, we do. We've got a combo deal going on. You can add a side and a drink for just $5 more. Oh, that sounds tempting. What sides do you offer? We've got garlic knots, buffalo wings, or a Caesar salad. I'm torn between the wings and the garlic knots. Which would you recommend? Personally, I'm a big fan of our buffalo wings. They're pretty popular and pair well with pizza. All right, you've convinced me. I'll go for the wings and let's add a large Coke to round out the meal. Excellent choice. So that's a large cheese pizza, buffalo wings, and a large Coke. Is there anything else you'd like to add? No, that should do it. How long will the delivery take? We're looking at about 30 to 40 minutes. Perfect. See you soon. Now that was a real conversation. When I have to order food using my phone, that's the type of conversation I would have with the individual. But there are so many expressions and words that we as native English speakers use during conversations like we just read. So before I get into the words and expressions, I want to introduce myself. I'm Tiffani, also known as Teacher Tiffani, and my goal is to help you achieve each and every one of your English goals. So, are you ready to dive into the words and expressions from that conversation? Well then, let's jump right in. All right, so from that conversation, there were tons of terms. The very first term I want us to look at is this one, specials running. Now, in the conversation, this is what was said. I'll have a large cheese pizza and do you guys have any specials running? Now, this term specials running, it literally just refers to current promotional offers or discounts available at a restaurant or a business. Again, specials running just refers to any current discounts or any specials that a restaurant might have at the time that you're calling them. So it's a term we use very often in English. Now, I want to make sure you understand how to use it when you are calling someone or when you are speaking to someone that works at a restaurant or an establishment. So check out these example sentences. Here's the very first example sentence. The cafe has some great specials running this week on breakfast items. Next, sentence number 2. I always ask about specials running before ordering to get the best deal. And sentence number 3. The restaurant had a 2-for-1 special running on appetizers. You got it? Again, specials running, it literally just refers to promotional offers or discounts that are available. So during the conversation, the question was asked, do you have any specials running? So we understand specials running, but what about these next 2 words and expressions? Actually, we do. We've got a combo deal going on. You can add a side and a drink for just $5 more. So the 2 expressions are combo deal and add a side. So what do these expressions actually mean? So I want us to first check out combo deal. Combo deal. So a combo deal, again, when you're calling to place an order over the phone, Combo deal, a package or offer that combines multiple items at a discounted price. Remember in the conversation, it was mentioned you can get buffalo wings, you can get a side, you can get something else along with your main order. Pizza and buffalo wings. Combo deal, again, refers to a package or offer that combines multiple items. Check out these example sentences. Here we go. The fast food restaurant offered a combo deal that included burger, fries, and a drink. Next, I saved money by choosing the combo deal for my phone and internet service. And finally, the third example sentence using this term. The gym had a combo deal for a membership that included access to classes and the pool. So you'll notice in the last example sentence, it wasn't speaking about food. Combo deal can be used when you're talking about food deals and other deals as well. So in English, we say combo deal. But what about the other term? Add aside, this expression. So add aside. Now, this expression, it literally just means to include an additional small dish or item to complement the main order. So you're adding something smaller to complement. Remember, we're ordering pizza over the phone, cheese pizza, right? And you're adding a side, maybe buffalo wings as a side, or a drink, or chips. So in English, we say add aside. Check out these example sentences. Here we go. Would you like to add a side of fries to your burger? Next, I decided to add a side salad to make my meal more balanced. And finally, for just $2 more, you can add a side of onion rings to any entree. You got it? Excellent. So once again, during this part of the conversation, we're talking about adding a side and also the combo deal. All right, so let's keep going on now to the next part of this conversation. During this part of the conversation, a word was used. The word is tempting. Here's what was said. Oh, that sounds tempting. What sides do you offer? That sounds tempting. So what does the term tempting actually mean? So this term tempting, it literally just refers to something that is appealing or attractive, often in a way that makes someone want to have or do something. Ooh, the way you describe those buffalo wings, woo, makes me want to eat them now. Tempting, again, appealing or attractive, making someone want to have it. Check out these example sentences. Here we go. The first one. The smell of freshly baked cookies was tempting. Next, the job offer was tempting, but I decided to stay with my current company. And finally, the idea of sleeping in was tempting, but I knew I had to get up for work. You got it? Excellent. So once again, the term is tempting. Now, as the conversation continued, we heard another word, another term to describe a food item. The term is buffalo wings. Now, it's not an actual buffalo, but let me read it to you. We've got garlic knots, buffalo wings, or a Caesar salad. So what does buffalo wings actually refer to, or what does it actually mean? So buffalo wings, this literally just refers to a spicy chicken wing dish, typically deep fried and coated in a vinegar-based cayenne pepper hot sauce and butter. Buffalo wings. So it's a type of chicken, right? Chicken wing, but it's how it is seasoned. In English, we say buffalo wings. So if you ever have to call to order from a restaurant in English and they say buffalo wings, you'll know what they are referring to. So check out these example sentences. Here we go. We ordered a plate of buffalo wings to share during the game. Next, the restaurant claimed to have the best buffalo wings in town. And finally, he always gets his buffalo wings extra spicy with blue cheese dressing on the side. So you see now how to use this term buffalo wings. All right, now as the conversation continued, another term was introduced. Here it is. I'm torn between the wings and the garlic knots. Which would you recommend? Once again, I'm torn between the wings and the garlic knots. Which would you recommend? The term is torn. So what does this term torn actually mean? So when we say torn between something, we literally are just saying we are unable to choose between two options or alternatives. I'm torn between the buffalo wings, which are delicious, and the garlic knots, which are also delicious. Again, hard to choose between two options or two alternatives. Check out these example sentences. Here we go. The first one. I'm torn between taking the job offer and staying at my current position. Next, she was torn about whether to attend her friend's wedding or her cousin's graduation. And finally, the committee was torn on which candidate to select for the position. Once again, torn just refers to being unable to choose between two options or alternatives. You got it? Excellent. All right. And as the conversation continued, another term came up. Here's what was said. Personally, I'm a big fan of our buffalo wings. They're pretty popular and they pair well with pizza. And they pair well with pizza. What does pair well actually mean? So, pair well is the term we're looking at. Pair well, it literally just refers to going together nicely or complementing each other, especially in terms of food and drink. Fries pair well with burgers. Again, to go nicely together or complement each other. So check out these example sentences. Here we go. Fresh berries pair well with creamy yogurt for a healthy breakfast. Next, a crisp salad pairs well with grilled chicken to create a balanced meal. And finally, cheese and crackers pair well for a simple appetizer. You got it? Excellent. So this term, pair well, is used very often in English. And so even during the simple conversation, you heard that it was being used. Now, before we get to the last part of this conversation, I want to remind you, everything that you're learning is actually found in the English with Tiffani app, the practice lessons. So after this video, or if you're listening to it via the podcast, you can download the English with Tiffani app for free and start practicing what you are learning. My goal is to help you achieve your English goals, and part of that is by offering you the English with Tiffani app to help you practice. All right? So hit the link in the description or go to the Play Store and download the app. Now, the last part of the conversation had 3 specific expressions. Here we go. All right. You've convinced me. I'll go for the wings and let's add a large Coke to round out the meal. I want us to start with convinced. What does this term convinced actually mean? So the term is convinced. And this term just means persuaded to do something or to believe that something is true. You've convinced me. You persuaded me that this is delicious. I'm going to go with that. Here are the example sentences using this term. After hearing all the evidence, the jury was convinced of the defendant's innocence. Sentence number 2. His passionate speech convinced many people to support the cause. And finally, I wasn't sure about the movie at first, but the reviews convinced me to give it a try. You got it? Excellent. All right, so we have convinced. And now the next term we have is go for. So what does go for actually mean? Go for. Remember in the conversation, it was said, I'll go for the wings. So go for just means to choose or decide on a particular option. Again, to choose or decide on a particular option. So I'll choose the wings. So let's check out these example sentences. Here we go. I think I'll go for the chicken sandwich today. Next, after considering all options, we decided to go for the economy car rental. And finally, if you can't decide between the two, just go for the one you like best. Again, in English, we say go for. And at the end of the conversation, the individual said, let's add a large Coke to round out the meal. Round out. Now, this term round out, it literally just means to complete or make something more well-balanced. I want to make my meal more well-balanced. Let's round it out. Check out these example sentences. Here we go. Adding a salad to your meal will help you round out or help round out your nutritional intake. Next, we need one more player to round out our team for the tournament. And finally, the company hired a marketing expert to round out their management team. Again, in English, we say round out. Yes, you got it. All right. So the very first simple conversation that now you understand is how to order food from a restaurant over the phone. But there's another simple conversation that I want you to be familiar with so that you can speak like a native English speaker. The topic of this conversation is discussing how someone's day was. Here we go. Hey, how was your day? Oh, it was quite a roller coaster. How about yours? Mine was pretty standard, but tell me about yours. What made it a roller coaster? Well, it started off rough. My alarm didn't go off, so I was running late for work. Oh no, that's never a good way to start the day. What happened next? I managed to make it to the office just in time for an important meeting, and guess what? My presentation was a hit. That's great. Sounds like things turned around. Yeah, it really did. My boss was so impressed, he treated the whole team to lunch. Wow, that's awesome. Anything else exciting happen? Actually, yes. On my way home, I ran into an old friend from college. We decided to catch up over coffee. Sounds like your day really was a roller coaster. I'm glad it ended on a high note. Thanks. Yeah, it just goes to show you never know how a day will pan out. Now that was a simple conversation in English, a conversation that would happen in any household, between any friends, between any couples on a regular day. But there are so many terms and expressions that were mentioned throughout the conversation. So I want to break down these terms so that you can master them and not feel confused. The very first one that you probably tilted your head on when you heard it was roller coaster. Now, here's what was said. Oh, it was quite a roller coaster. How about yours? So what does this term roller coaster actually mean? I want us to dive deeper into this term roller coaster. Now, roller coaster literally just means a situation or experience with many ups and downs or sudden extreme changes. Many ups and downs or sudden extreme changes, just like an actual roller coaster at an amusement park. Up and down, emotions up and down. Roller coaster. So check out these example sentences using this term. The first one: the stock market has been a roller coaster this week with dramatic rises and falls. Next, her emotions were a roller coaster throughout the intense movie. And finally, the team's performance this season has been a roller coaster of wins and losses. Again, this term, roller coaster, in the conversation, my day was quite a roller coaster. You got it? Excellent. All right. Now moving on to the next part of the conversation that included two terms. Well, it started off rough. My alarm didn't go off, so I was running late for work. We have two terms here. It started off rough. Rough is the first term, and then the second term is running late. Running late. So, what does this term rough actually mean? The term rough just means difficult or unpleasant. Difficult or unpleasant. So check out these example sentences because there are many things that happen throughout the day that can be difficult or unpleasant. Here's the first example sentence. The first few months at the new job were rough, but it got better. Next, we had a rough time finding our way in the unfamiliar city. And finally, the sea was rough, making the boat trip uncomfortable. You got it? Excellent. All right. So we have the term rough, and next we have the term running late. Running late. Now, running late just refers to being behind schedule or not on time. So I was running late for work. I didn't get to work on time. I was behind schedule. Running late. You got it. All right, check out these example sentences using this term. I'm running late for the meeting due to heavy traffic. Next, she's always running late, so we told her the party starts an hour earlier than it actually does. And finally, the project is running late and we might miss the deadline. You got it? Excellent. So again, running late. Now, as the conversation continued, there was another term that was brought up. Two terms, actually, that are important for you to understand. Here's the part of the conversation. I managed to make it to the office just in time for an important meeting. And guess what? My presentation was a hit. So we have two terms, make it and hit. So what does this term make it actually mean? The term make it literally just refers to arriving or succeeding, often just in time or with difficulty. My meeting started at 4 p.m. and I made it at 3:59, just in time. Make it. So check out these example sentences. Here we go. The first one. We made it to the airport just before the check-in counter closed. Next, despite the challenges, the team made it to the championship. And finally, I wasn't sure if I'd make it through the tough exam, but I did. Make it. All right. And then we had hit. She said, my presentation was a hit. This term hit, it literally just refers to a success or something that is very popular or well received. Everyone loved my presentation. It was a hit. You got it. Excellent. Excellent. Now check out these example sentences. Here we go. The new song became an instant hit on the radio. Next, Her speech was a hit with the audience, receiving a standing ovation. And finally, the restaurant's new menu item has been a hit with customers. You got it? Great job. So we have these two terms from this part of the conversation: make it and hit. Then the next part of the conversation brought out another term. Here's the statement. That's great. Sounds like things turned around. Once again, turned around. So what does this term turned around actually mean? So, turned around. This expression literally just means to change from bad to good or to improve a situation. She was sick, but everything turned around and now she's feeling better. To change from bad to good or to improve a situation. Check out these example sentences. Here we go. The company was struggling, but the new CEO turned things around. Next, he turned his grades around in the last semester and graduated with honors. And finally, the team was losing at halftime, but they turned the game around in the second half. You got it? Yes. So in English, we say turned around. And then we have another term that is very commonly used. In the conversation, this was said. Yeah, it really did. My boss was so impressed. He treated the whole team to lunch. Again, he treated the whole team to lunch. What does this term treated actually mean? So this term treated, it literally just means to pay for someone else's food, drink, or entertainment as a kind gesture. Hey, I'm going to treat you to lunch. I'm going to pay for your lunch. Again, to pay for someone else's food, drink, or entertainment as a kind gesture. Here are the 3 example sentences. To celebrate my promotion, I treated my friends to dinner. Next, my parents treated us to a movie on my birthday. And finally, as a thank you, the client treated the entire office to lunch. You got it? Excellent. All right, so we have the term treated. And then we have these 2 terms, ran into and catch up. Here's what was said in the conversation. Actually, yes. On my way home, I ran into an old friend from college. We decided to catch up over coffee. So the first expression, I ran into an old friend from college. So what does this term ran into actually mean? So ran into, it literally just refers to meeting someone by chance. It wasn't scheduled, it wasn't planned, you met them by chance. In English, we say ran into. Here are the example sentences. Here we go. I ran into my old teacher at the grocery store yesterday. Next, we ran into each other at the concert and decided to hang out. And finally, she ran into her ex-boyfriend while on vacation in Paris. Ran into. And then we have catch up. Again, catch up. In the conversation, we heard, we decided to catch up over coffee. To catch up means to talk with someone you haven't seen for a while and share recent news. So, I want to catch up. I want to let you know what's been going on in my life, and I want to know what's been going on in your life. Here are the example sentences. Here we go. Let's meet for coffee and catch up. It's been ages since we last talked. Next, I spent hours on the phone catching up with my sister who lives abroad. And finally, The high school reunion was a great opportunity to catch up with old classmates. You got it? Yes. So in English, we say catch up and ran into. Now, the final one that was really important was this one, pan out. Here's what was said in the conversation. Thanks. Yeah, it goes to show you never know how a day will pan out. You never know how a day will pan out. What does pan out actually mean? This term, pan out, literally just refers to developing or ending in a particular way, especially successfully. The way something works out, the way something ends. In English, we say pan out. So check out these example sentences. Here we go. We'll see how the new business venture pans out over the next few months. Next, their blind date didn't pan out. They had nothing in common. And finally, the risky investment panned out, yielding significant returns. In English, once again, we say pan out. Makes sense, right? So again, from this one conversation, you were able to learn so many expressions and terms so that you can use them when talking to someone about your day. But this third conversation topic is even more important. This third conversation topic is also one that native English speakers have on a regular basis. A simple English conversation that includes many new terms. The topic is asking about your hobbies. Here's the conversation. Hey, I've been meaning to ask, what are some of your hobbies? Oh, I love photography and hiking. How about you? That's cool. I'm more into reading and cooking. How long have you been into photography? I've been dabbling in it for about 5 years now. It's really grown on me. Wow, that's quite a while. Do you have a favorite type of photograph? I'm really into landscape photography. It ties in nicely with my love for hiking. That makes sense. Do you have any go-to spots for hiking and photography? There's a great trail about an hour from here. It's a bit of a hidden gem. Sounds awesome. Maybe you could show me the ropes sometime. Absolutely, I'd be happy to. It's always fun to share your passions with others. Great, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for letting me pick your brain about your hobbies. Anytime. It's always a pleasure to talk about the things you love. Now, once again, this simple conversation was an example of a real life English conversation that would happen between native English speakers. And it was about hobbies. But there were so many terms within this conversation. So let's dive deeper into these terms. Again, the topic being hobbies. The first two terms I want us to look at come in this section of the conversation. I've been dabbling in it for about 5 years now. It's really grown on me. There are two terms that we're going to dive into: dabbling in and grown on me. Dabbling in. So let's start with dabbling in. Dabbling in. Now, this term just refers to taking part in an activity in a casual or superficial way. To take part in an activity. It's a hobby, like, hey, I take part in it. It's not really serious. I'm dabbling in it. Check out these example sentences. Here we go. She's been dabbling in painting as a weekend hobby. Next, I've been dabbling in learning French, but I'm not fluent yet. And finally, he dabbles in stock trading, but it's not his main source of income. You got it? Excellent. All right, dabbling in. And the second term, grown on me. Now, what does grown on me actually mean? So I want us to dive deeper into this expression. Grown on me refers to becoming more appealing or likable over time. Again, becoming more appealing or likable over time. Yeah, it's grown on me. Over time, I've started to like it even more. Grown on me. Here are the example sentences. I didn't like jazz at first, but it's really grown on me. Next, the city's charm has grown on me since I moved here. And number 3, that new coworker has grown on me. He's actually quite funny. You got it? Yes, so we have dabbling in and grown on me. Now, the next part of the conversation got very interesting. It says this: I'm really into landscape photography. It ties in nicely with my love for hiking. Again, it ties in nicely with my love for hiking. So the expression we're going to look at is ties in nicely. What does ties in nicely mean? This expression means to connect or relate well with something else. Ties in nicely, to connect or relate well with something else. Check out these example sentences. My love for languages ties in nicely with my job as a translator. Next, his background in psychology ties in nicely with his current role in HR. And finally, studying history ties in nicely with understanding current global politics. You got it? Yes. So ties in nicely. Now, after ties in nicely, another term was brought up. Go-to spots. Now, here's what was said in the conversation. That makes sense. Do you have any go-to spots for hiking and photography? Again, do you have any go-to spots for hiking and photography? So what does this term go-to spots actually mean? This expression literally just refers to favorite or regularly visited places. Somewhere you enjoy going to. Your favorite or regularly visited place. In English, we say a go-to spot. So check out this example sentence. Here we go. The cafe around the corner is my go-to spot for a quick lunch. Next, that quiet beach is our go-to spot for weekend relaxation. And finally, the library is my go-to spot when I need to focus on work. You got it? Excellent. I wonder what your go-to spot is. All right, so we have go-to spot as the term. And then we have this one. I want you to listen closely. There's a great trail about an hour from here. It's a bit of a hidden gem. It's a bit of a hidden gem. What does hidden gem actually mean? So this term hidden gem just refers to something valuable or excellent that is not well known or appreciated. Something that is valuable or excellent, but it's not well known. Many people don't know about it, or it's not appreciated in the way that it should be. In English, we say a hidden gem. Here's the first example sentence. We discovered a hidden gem of a restaurant in the old part of town. Next, this little known book is a hidden gem in the world of science fiction. And finally, the small museum was a hidden gem filled with fascinating local history. Again, in English, we say hidden gem. Good job. Good job. All right. The next term that popped up during the conversation, there were actually two, but we're going to go into one first. Show me the ropes. Show me the ropes. Here's what was said in the conversation. Sounds awesome. Maybe you could show me the ropes sometime. So what does this term show me the ropes actually mean? Show me the ropes. This literally just means to teach someone how to do a job or activity. Again, to teach someone how to do a job or activity. I'll show you how to do it. I'll show you the ropes. Here's the example sentence number 1. Could you show me the ropes on how to use this new software? Next. My mentor offered to show me the ropes of the publishing industry. And finally, the experienced climber showed us the ropes before we attempted the difficult route. You got it? Excellent. So again, show me the ropes. Now, this next part includes two expressions. Here's what was said in the conversation. Absolutely, I'd be happy to. It's always fun to share your passions with others. Absolutely, I'd be happy to. It's always fun to share your passions with others. We're going to start with happy to. What does this term happy to actually mean? Happy to just means willing or pleased to do something. Again, willing or pleased to do something. So let me give you these example sentences. Here we go. I'm happy to help you move this weekend. Next, she's always happy to share her expertise with new team members. And finally, we're happy to accommodate your dietary restrictions at the dinner party. Again, happy to, willing or pleased to do something. Now, what about share your passions? Share your passions. This expression just refers to talking about or involving others in the activities or subjects you love. To talk about or share the activities or passions you love with others. In English, we say share your passions. You got it? Excellent. All right, let's check out these example sentences. Here we go. He loves to share his passion for astronomy by hosting stargazing nights. Next. The chef shared her passion for Italian cuisine through cooking classes. And finally, parents often try to share their passions with their children. You got it? Good job. So again, we have the term share your passions. Then we have this next one. This next one is let me pick your brain. It sounds strange, right? You want to pick my brain? What? Pay attention. Great. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for letting me pick your brain about your hobbies. Thanks for letting me pick your brain about your hobbies. This term, letting me pick your brain, literally just refers to asking someone for advice, information, or opinions on a particular subject. Asking someone for advice, information, or opinions on a particular subject. In English, we say, let me pick your brain. Check out these example sentences. Here we go. Thanks for letting me pick your brain about starting a business. Next. I'd love to pick your brain about your experiences living abroad. And finally, the new intern was eager to pick the CEO's brain during the company mixer. Pick your brain. What's your opinion? What's your advice? What's your thought? You got it? Excellent. All right. And then at the very end of the conversation, we had this statement. Anytime. It's always a pleasure to talk about the things you love. Anytime. It's always a pleasure to talk about the things you love. What does this term anytime actually mean? Here we go. Anytime. It is literally just a casual way of saying you're welcome or expressing willingness to help again in the future. Hey, anytime. I got you. Don't worry about it. Anytime. Make sense? Good. All right. Check out these example sentences. Thanks for your help. Anytime. Just let me know if you need anything else. Next. I appreciate you listening to me. Hey, anytime. That's what friends are for. And finally, thanks for the ride. Anytime. It was on my way home anyway. Thanks for the ride. Anytime. It was on my way home anyway. So again, this term, anytime, just means you're welcome and you don't mind doing it again in the future. These conversations will help you sound more like a native English speaker, and I hope these terms helped you as well. I'll talk to you in the next lesson. You still there? You know what time it is. It's story time. Hey, I said it's story time. Now, I do have to say this. Today, we're not going to have a story. But I did want to pause and just say thank you. I wanted to say thank you, and I do this periodically throughout the year at the end of some of my videos, because I am always reminded of the blessing that I have received in being able to be your English teacher. Each time I record a lesson, I'm looking at the camera lens, but in my mind, I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about you and other English learners around the world who are able to speak English with confidence because of my lessons. That is something that warms my heart. That is something that makes me want to continue doing this for decades to come. So I just want to say thank you for giving me the honor of being your English teacher. And I don't have a specific story for you today, but just know this: you are now a part of my life story. Thank you again. I love you and I believe in you. I'll talk to you in the next lesson.